like, you guys think everything's about you being this great clinician. No, people want to be entertained. People want to feel like they belong. People want to feel like it's fun. That's what people want. And I think a lot of times we're just not making it fun. It's just boring.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Today, I want to talk about banana ball. Have you heard of it? Banana ball is something that I've been talking about to my clients, and I want to give a shout out to Lisa Chase, who's in my inner circle, Joanna Khan, who is part of my Platinum Mastermind. Both of them reached out to me about this 60-minute special that was on CBS last night. I'm doing this podcast on a Monday. And I was watching CBS after the Masters. Shout out to Rory McIlroy. And basically they had a whole segment on banana ball. And so I think this is like so cool. And there's so many things that I believe we could learn from banana ball that we can integrate into our business and make our businesses thrive during times like these. Even though you feel like you're the little guy or the little gal and you can't compare. No, you can. You just have to do it in your unique way. Now, I'm not saying for you to do what banana ball has done, but you need to do your version of something that is different than what the establishments do. So let's talk about banana ball, because some of you don't even know what the heck is banana ball. Banana ball is basically, it's entertainment, okay? And it is a version of baseball and of all the sports, whether it's NHL, MLB, which is baseball, NFL, NBA. I think we can all say that, like, I grew up playing baseball, but I think baseball is, of all those sports, probably the most boring, right? But what banana ball did is they took something that, even though it has the most tradition, probably of all American sports, baseball, but also probably the one that's been going down the most out of all the sports, banana ball has taken the problems that we have in baseball and said, we're going to turn this into something that is truly entertaining. And so that's what the 60-minute special was on. Maybe in the show notes, I'll put a link, because Joanna gave me a link. She sent me an email link to the 60 minutes, special. I was watching it live anyways, but I'll let you guys, listen to it as well. So let's talk about, banana ball. So banana ball is a version of baseball that they have made extremely entertaining, and it has become a massive, massive, massive craze and a massive movement. It started in Savannah, Georgia, with a team called the Savannah Bananas, right? And they have another team that they play. It's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters, right, of baseball. And they usually play, oh gosh, I can't remember I'm drawing a blank on the other team that they play. But basically it's entertainment, y'all. And so there are certain things that they do that has, like, really attracted people to this game. And so they said, okay, we're going to do the things that we despise or we don't like in baseball, and we are going to just do the opposite. So here's the first thing. Before I talk about the things that they do that's different than traditional baseball, please take that away from what they talked about last night. We said, look, all we did is, there's obviously certain things that we love in the sport, but there's also certain things that we hate. And so all we did is just took all the things that we don't like and just said, hey, we're going to create a version of this that's totally different. Okay, so let me tell you some of the things I don't like. The first thing is the price. Okay, to go to a baseball game is anywhere. Look, there are some cheap tickets, but for the most part, tickets are usually anywhere between $80 to $300 to go to a baseball game. Okay. So what they did is just said, hey, we're going to make tickets extremely, extremely affordable. All right. And I think tickets are $40 and under for the majority of Savannah Banana games. Okay. So that's the first thing they did. All right. They said, hey, you know what? High price, let's go ahead and make this low price. Okay, that's number one. Number two is they make all the games that you can actually see it for free. Okay, you can see it for free on YouTube. You go to YouTube, and they're making money, by the way, off of that with just having a huge YouTube, following. But basically, every single game that you want to watch, it is on YouTube Live. They realize that, wait a minute, We don't have to have a contract with ESPN or Fox or CBS or NBC. We have our own networks, and those networks are TikTok and their YouTube and their Facebook and their Instagram. And we can post ourselves on these networks and basically get awareness so that people can start to follow it. And then from there, if they want to come to games, it's actually quite affordable. But if they want to see them for free, you can see them for free. Now, is that the case for baseball? For traditional baseball? No. For traditional baseball, you have to have some type of network, whether you have Hulu, you have YouTube TV, you have Comcast, you have Spectrum, you have whatever cable net. You cannot watch a professional Major League Baseball game without having one of those networks. It's not on YouTube for free. It's not on Facebook for free. It's not on Instagram for free. So that's one of the first things that they did, okay? So they hit price. Okay, number two, I said, all right, the games in and of itself can be kind of boring, and we're going to make sure that we create entertainment before the actual game. So this is something they don't do in baseball. In baseball, there's no like tailgating like there is in football. There's none of that, okay? In baseball, you go to the game. Go to the game, you can maybe go early and watch the players warm up or whatnot, but there's no major entertainment, okay? Like the game goes on and the game starts, and the game's usually 3 to 3.5 hours, okay? So what they did is they said, hey, what we are going to do is we're going to have entertainment. We're going to have entertainment not only during the games. They have like 50 different acts that are happening during the actual games itself, but they actually have 1, 2, 3 hours prior to the game. They have all these different performances, right? It could be like older folks dancing or little kids or this or that. They have all these different performances that happen before the game. So it's almost like a party before the actual event. That's so smart, right? It's so smart. It gets people excited. It gets them riled up. It gets them to find value before the main thing even happens. Okay. By the way, I'm going to tell you guys how I've been able to do, not all the things that Banana Ball has done, but how I've been able to do some of those things to allow Smart Success PT, now Smart Success Healthcare, to turn into what it is today, okay? I've taken some of these concepts and I've been able to put this into our movement so that I could basically be unique in the marketplace. Okay, all right, so next thing. They said, you know what? Baseball is way too long. Okay, it's way too long. So they make it to where no game can be longer than 2 hours. 2 hours is the max. Okay, if they hit 2 hours, that's it. Game's over. It's done. Like, so they made it to where, like, it's not always the longer the better. Okay, it's let's make this short. Let's make this to where people are not, just kind of, zoning out, et cetera, et cetera. So they make it 2 hours and that's it. And I think that's really important. Even for me, like when I go to a concert, or I go to any type of, I just don't want it to be too long. Like you can overdo certain things. No matter no, as much as you might love Mariah Carey or you love U2 or you love Def Leppard or you love Jay-Z or it doesn't, like nobody wants to be at anything for 6, 7 hours. It's just too long. So they said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it 2 hours. 2 hours is the tops for the actual event itself. Okay. Then another thing that they did is they took one of the most boring parts of the event and they made it exciting. Okay, so they said in baseball, what's one of the more boring aspects of baseball? And by the way, how they found out all these things, they just polled people. One of the most boring aspects of baseball is the walk, right? So the pitcher's pitching, 1 ball, 2 balls, 3 balls, and then 4 balls, that's a walk. So they say you're going to walk to first. So what they do is they eliminated the walk. So what they do is if there are 4 balls, then the runner has to run and they have to have every single person that's in the field touch the ball before they can make the runner go out. So they took probably one of the most boring aspects of the baseball game and they turn it into something that's extremely fun, exciting, et cetera, et cetera. Here was the next part that I thought was pretty fascinating. And that is when the CEO said that what he did is he initially, when they first started Banana Ball, they would see like the fans like start to look at their phones, or they would see fans leaving, maybe that's in the 6th inning or 7th inning. And he said it would drive him crazy. So what he did is he started to write down all the different times where he would look at what the audience was doing and when they started to get distracted. And he said, what we're going to do is we are going to now, that's where we're going to add in the entertainment so that they now find a reason to stay. You guys, all of this is marketing. All of this is sales. It's getting people to be entertained. It's getting people to be able to keep their engagement. That's what Banana Ball did. That's what they did. And so now today, Banana Ball, their TikTok following is bigger than the 12 biggest Major League Baseball teams, the teams that made the playoffs last year. All 12 of those teams combined, their platform, their TikTok following is bigger than all those teams combined in Major League Baseball. It is now a multi-million-dollar industry. They have sold out, I think, 12 Major League Baseball stadiums, and they've sold out 5 NFL stadiums as well. And I know that they were here in Tampa Bay probably about a month ago, and they had all 65,000 seats sold out. And from what I remember, they sold out in like under 30 minutes. And there were tickets that were being auctioned off at like $400 to $600. It's crazy. Okay. So I'm saying all this to you because the majority of you that are listening to this podcast, you're in healthcare. And you gripe and complain about how bad healthcare is. You guys, that should make you really, really, really excited and happy. What things do you not like about healthcare that you could say, wait a minute, I could do this totally different. And I can do this in a way that my competitors aren't doing. And I could totally corner a certain part of the market. Okay, so let's kind of talk about, I'm going to tell you guys, as I think about the history of SSPT, think about just some of the things that I did that made it so different. I didn't have the resources. Most of my events, most of them are not advertised, they're not sponsor led. It's basically coming out of my pocket. And in the beginning, we've done quite well now. I think SSPT, SSHC has probably done 15, 20 million or something like that. But that was not the case in the beginning. This is just me wanting to do something fun and help people out. And it was just my personal money that I was just using to run events, to do this, to do that. I wasn't really charging people much of anything. Okay. So how did it go from nothing to something? Well, when I really think about it, maybe I took some of the Banana Ball principles. I mean, here's one of the things that I used to do, right? For those of you that are OGs, you remember this. In my classes, I would do these classes on Facebook, right? I'd go into a Facebook group, go on Facebook Live, people would come into the program, and every Monday night, usually around 9 p.m., I would actually do a class. But here's what I would do. In the class, I would have all my notes of what I want to, talk about, and I would have a theme of music that we are going to use for the entire class. So it was so entertaining. I knew that it was 9 p.m. I knew that nobody wants to, at 9 p.m., you just finished working, you traded all your time for money, you're tired as heck. Nobody wants to come to a class where I'm going to do a bunch of PowerPoint presentation for the entire, nobody wants that crap. So what I did is I had no PowerPoint. All I did is I had a set of notes on my Mac. And then what I would do is I would have a theme of music. So I would start the class off and I would just get people really hyped and getting them really excited. And maybe it'd be 80s, or it was going to be like Taylor Swift versus Christina Aguilera, or Britney Spears or 80s music versus 90s music, or Prince versus Michael Jackson, or this, that. And that's all I would do. And I would just go back and forth. And then people would in the chat would type the lyrics of, and it was life-changing for people. Why? Because I made it entertaining. At 9 o'clock, people were so excited instead of let me go veg out and I'm ready for bed. That's all I did. I just added music to at every single point. I also knew that I started listening to lyrics as well, right? So what lyrics would kind of emphasize the thing that I was talking about, right? And so it was, I don't know, maybe I'm naturally good at it. I'm not sure, but it was just fun. And I was able to turn that into what I did at my live events as well. I would have music for the times that I was teaching. I would, if I'm going to intro somebody, I would intro them to the music that they liked. And so music became a huge part of my teaching of what it is that I did. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is I started like, look, I'm not dealing with 65,000 people. I'm dealing with maybe 50, 70 people, 100 tops, right? But what we were able to do is we were able to like create nicknames for a lot of our students, right? So like I would, like when they would comment, I would have like nicknames for people, right? And then I started to say this and say that. And it was literally like just funny things that were happening as we were going through the actual class. And then people started to become really good friends with one another. And it was just because I created endearing terms for the majority of the students. Like that's what we did. Okay, that's what we did. The other thing is anytime I would do events, I would always have like a party before the event started. So people got extremely comfortable and it already created the tone and the vibe of what we wanted to create for the actual event. Guys, these are such small little things that you could do. Okay, you're like, well, okay, Greg, that's great for events. Well, okay, let me tell you how I did it for my clinic. For my clinic, I would have the music to whatever my clients liked. Any clients that came after 3 p.m., I would start to have, I knew at 3 p.m. things would get dicey in a clinic. So what I would do is I would start to write now, okay, what's your favorite, genre of music? Who's your favorite artist? I'd have my staff ask the patients that were coming in, like what music, like what's your thing? And when they would drive up, we could see them from the windows. And then I would have one of my staff members actually like play their song when they came in. That's how we would intro them coming into the back of the clinic, into the gym area. I cannot even tell you how amazing that was for people. Nobody canceled. Nobody, you guys think everything's about you being this great clinician. No, people want to be entertained. People want to feel like they belong. People want to feel like it's fun. That's what people want. And I think a lot of times we're just not making it fun. It's just boring. Your treatment's boring. The experience is boring. And that's what people want. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so above that. Well, you got to get over yourself. Okay. If you want to be able to last, you want to be able to survive and even thrive during times like these, man, you gotta create emotion for your client base. And I think that's what Banana Ball has done. To a certain extent, that's what I have tried to do. And I think those that are able to do that are going to create something unique in the marketplace. And now it's not all based on things that only you and your colleagues find important. That you got some new certification at some program, some course. Like that's not what people are looking for. Okay. People are paying money. Okay. Yeah. They want to feel better. But they also want to not just feel better physically, but they want to feel better emotionally. They want to feel better mentally. They want to feel better spiritually. So what are you doing from that standpoint? So anyways, I think those are things we can learn from Banana Ball, things that we can integrate into what it is that we're doing. And I think it's in your best interest to start looking at what things can I do that's going to not only get my clients results, but entertain them, and educate them in the process. And I think if you do those things, I think you'll be able to survive during times like what we're going through right now. Anyways, I hope that helps you guys. I hope that serves you. See you on the next episode.